Welcome to the Lukens National Historic District. I'm Scott Huston, the president of the Graystone Society, and tonight we'll be talking about the Lukens Athletic League and the various organizations and groups that came under that. So, before we go into it, though, it's just always interesting. Lukens was such a large company, and it has a number of different things. It obviously made steel and the various communities inside of that, the melt shop and the rolling mill and the, management or accounting or sales and such service engineering. And they obviously competed to make steel and try and do it the best they can, but then there's the larger community of Lukens, which, at times includes obviously its own fire company, its own police force, and other social opportunities. And, one of the ones that, we've always, known about is the Lukens Athletic League. And a number of years ago, we were dropped off some boxes on the Lukens Athletic League, and do you want the records? And of course we said, sure, we'll take them. And so they sat downstairs, for a number of years. But Gene, you and I were going to New York, back and forth, and long car rides and such. And John Hayes came along to us with a couple of those trips, and he works for Lukens and the plant engineer, I guess he is. Currently, and just talking to him about his experiences with the Lukens Athletic League, and I always ask, where do people come from? Like, where do you come from? And he said Connecticut, and he gave me his background, but how he ended up here at the plant. But what struck him was some of his stories about the Lukens Athletic League and playing basketball, and kind of fitting in on a social level. By participating in that sport with a number of great athletes. And so, that's really what struck a chord with me is, here's a way that people can come into the company, and obviously there's a job, but, to get to know people in that larger community life, through basketball, and this one particular story of someone, from Connecticut. But then he also went on to, say, what great athletes that Lukens had in some of these. So, while tonight I try and present a story of the Lukens Athletic League and doing some of the, the methodology and the research and some people, we hope that this is just the first step at really trying to, formulate, a base from which, stories can be collected and people can get more involved, with the Lukens Athletic League and the history. We have, take a look outside, some of the photographs that you'll see online today are in the lobby on display, so take a look at them. And then as well we have some golf clubs and baseball hats and things that from the various years, which is interesting. But I guess as far as the research is concerned, hopefully this thing moves forward here in a logical manner. But what we did was the methodology was we acquired the Lukens Athletic Association archives, and then we stored them downstairs, and then doing some research on this, trying to get the boxes out and go through and see what we have. And what we found basically was we have a lot of organizational documents, and we have some pictures, and mostly pictures of baseball, golf, bowling, darts, and the annual dinner, which we'll show you as well. But one of the methodologies here as well is research in the story is ever evolving, and so, this afternoon, Gene and I were taking out the Lukens Life books, which we hope to get documented, digitalized real soon. But we were going through those and just trying to find out an origin date, for the Lukens Athletic League. And so, research is continuing, and stay tuned, we'll have more on that. But Gene and I did go through them, and Gene found in 1938 reference to a proposal to formulate a Lukens Athletic League because other industrial sites were doing them and had some good models and the social and health benefits, et cetera. And so that was the first reference that we found. Not to say that there aren't any proposals before that, because there were proposals after that. I can't remember the exact date. I think it was the 1940s, 41, where there was another call to formulate the Lukens Athletic League. But what was evident was that there were leagues in existence at that time or before that time. Not necessarily the Lukens Athletic League, but there was the baseball league, the basketball league, you know, and what we don't have any slides here tonight was also prevalent was information on boxing. Boxing was big in the 30s and 40s. So, you know, again, I think the story of the Lukens Athletic League can tell the story of Coatesville, can tell a story of social evolution and progress, and you know how the community interacted with the seal. But just wanted to go through, like, you know, some of the process by which we looked at this. Some of the first information that I'm going to present to you, which I found to be fascinating, is, you know, the organization of the Lukens Athletic League. And you know, here is a a brochure late in the history of the Lukens Athletic League. This was put out by Lukens in probably the 80s or 90s, and it just shows some of the various activities that were undertaken and where, which I think is interesting as well, and you know, the purpose and of course the awards at the end. Basketball, pistol, softball, slimnastics, which I found to be an interesting take on the words. Bowling, of course, men's and women's, mixed. Bowling was big, golf was big. Here it was in Ingleside, in Coatesville, and I know that later on under ISG you'll see it was a moccasin run, volleyball, and then running, road race. On the back there was an antique club, a ski club, and a tennis club. So that's what I joked about earlier. It wasn't necessarily all athletics. The antique club was active, I know, until the very end. So that's their Lukens brochure. And then, you know, you talk about an organization. Of course, they had, you know, bylaws. You know, how do you run this? And I just thought that was interesting. I won't go through this, but we have these types of documents now, you know, so that you can see how a corporation thought corporately about its athletic league. And you know, this kind of spells out some things. I don't really have to go through too much of this. You know, it's interesting from a perspective in the awards program, equivalents, rules and regulations. And here is, this is from Bethlehem. This is towards the end, just the brochure, again, I believe that, where they had, I'm sorry, let me back up. Well, just, yeah, camaraderie, fun. And so even the continuation of the Lukens into Bethlehem and an ISG, you know, you have this approximately 1/3 of the employees participate, and has supported the Lukens Athletic Association since the 1950s. But, you know, again, we're trying to determine that date. Here is a list of an agenda. You know, you have the obviously the bylaws, but you have to have your regular meetings. So here's an agenda, and it's basically just the committees listed in order after you do the treasurer's report, which I'll show some of that as well. But again, antique. Here you have arts and crafts, basketball, bowling. There's a budget committee, nominations, you know, planning, some of those things that, you know, from an organizational standpoint. I'm not sure what year that is from, though. But here is 1989. I imagine it's in the 80s because of the typewritten. But here's 89. Again, then showing who's responsible for what committees. And then, you know, here you see 93, you know, with the committees as it evolves a little bit. You know, gone or planning, you know, or there's planning, actually. And then each, I'm not sure, we haven't really found everyone, and nor am I going to present them tonight, but I just wanted to show that, you know, each league had its own bylaws, you know, to run the committees. And here are the bylaws for the bowling. You know, I mean, they had a president for the bowling committee, and all the way down to secretary. It spells out prizes, membership eligibility. And, you know, I imagine these are, you know, quite useful, especially as you have awards and prizes and it's a competition and trying to spell out some of this. So, you know, all matches will start promptly at 6:50. You know, postponements, you know, team members, who can be on a team, who can't be on a team, you know, avoiding ringers and such. So, even specifies the, down below the shirts and the uniforms, which would be great to try and get some of those. I don't know, I don't think we have any. I was looking for some. Yeah. And such. So, and then here are the bylaws, and I'll just go through this real quick, but these are the bylaws for the Lukens Golf League. So, I'm not sure, I know we have a lot of photographs on basketball, but bowling and golf are definitely the largest organizations within the athletic league. And since, the competition, and there was softball and baseball, that was big as well. The competition and the rules and regulations, they probably had more of a need for this type of discipline and document rather than, the NT club. I don't know if they even had bylaws, but we'll keep looking. But here's the golf, you must presently work at Lukens or retired from Lukens or have been laid off, after April. And it also mentions Geo Carlson, Allegheny, part of the merger. And then goes through the scoring. And company champ first place, total award not to exceed $250. So, big money. But that's in '83, so we'd have to compound that now. It's probably worth $225. That was this. Just I'll fly through this. Just specifics. One thing I did come in that was interesting was, it spells out some things, etiquette, but there was something about an unnatural hazard, and it just specifies specifically the spring house at the Coatesville Country Club is an unnatural hazard. So I imagine you get free relief from that, but right outside the clubhouse there. And so I just thought these were interesting, really spelling out there it is unnatural hazard. Spring house on the left, number 8, is an unnatural hazard. So I imagine somebody was back there at some point in time calling for a ruling, and so they had to write that in there. And it specified scoring. I won't really go through this too much. Just match play and different formats for the scoring. General rules. I think this was just to show this was actually an older version. So we have a couple versions of different ones. This one showed match play, Ingleside and Coatesville A-League. It's pretty much the same ones before, so I didn't do the whole thing. But here I did want to bring out some subject material on the Antique Club, just because I thought that was interesting. And I ran into especially this one because I knew Harry Bear. He was kind of a large personality at Lukens, specifically for walking sticks and umbrellas, and he had a large pen and pencil collection. So it was nice to run across Harry Bear's name and look at this. He was giving lectures. The Lukens Antique Club gave lectures monthly up at the Arc Building, and here was Harry Bear doing the walking sticks and umbrellas. And then just a couple other topics. This was November. I don't know if I have them in chronological order, but you can see this one I thought was interesting because of the typeface, and as well because of what they were serving. Always being food centric myself, and price $16 per person, so it was a pretty good deal. And then one more was Mr. Leon Rowe. We'll be talking about the Jefferson's campaign in 1800, and it was just interesting. 98, so that's pretty much near the end. Lukens Antique Club was hanging in there right before the merger with Bethlehem. And Gene, I know you're a money guy. Jim, you're a money guy, but looking at the finances was interesting. Here's the treasurer's report from 1990, and it is 2 pages long. It's probably just a monthly report, and it shows the activity on the various clubs. And it kind of gives you a sense then as well, like what's the scale of each club. Complicated. I mean, you see again, basketball and softball and golf and bowling combined. Those are the main leagues.
Each group kept its own account, I guess.
I believe so. Yeah.
Budget and spending.
And they try to give a sense of the structure, the bylaws, and the overall organization, the agenda, the committees. Each had its own guidelines, accounts, activities, and they self-managed. Or not self-managed, but managed.
It's good to note that the contingency line is It's the smallest expenditures.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, other than the ski club, it was probably a warm winter.
And the pistol club?
Yeah, pistol club, that was interesting. Yeah.
volleyball's the largest.
Volleyball's the largest?
39.
Not 39. But if you combine the bowlings, mixed bowling,
Oh, okay.
men's, and it doesn't have women's bowling on there. You know, and that's. But volleyball, yeah. And I don't know where they played that, you know, whether that was up at the YMCA, you know. And that's where it's interesting is we try and develop a more, fuller story about the whole thing is to try and look, because each one of these has its unique history. And it'd be interesting to find out more.
I think our bowling teams use the old Y on Main Street.
Oh, the old Y. Oh, Main, right here. Sure.
Main Street, yeah.
For a number of years. Yeah, because the YMCA at the Great White Valley, that wasn't built, I say 1970s, 80s? Yeah. Well, we'll do a whole lecture on that later on. And here is the end, near the end. Proposed budget for 98, you know, showing again, right up to the end, what was happening and what was going on. And it was approved. So that's probably the last budget. $30,000 total to run the Lukens Athletic League. But then you get into the final report for 1997, and this is literally, I think, the last report I have. You know, that shows that the budget was $30,900. You know, receipts, but expenditures $34,000 balance. You know, minus, and then I believe that's when I should have the Van Reiner letter, but that's when it moves into Bethlehem. Bethlehem is going to continue on with the Lukens Athletic League, and then ISG comes along, and this is their. We'll go through a couple of their promotional materials, just quickly, and you can see what they kept and what they didn't. You know, antique club's gone and lunching club, but the pistol bowling, volleyball, and yoga makes an appearance, and that's the other side. Still just kind of the purpose and the awards. And serious athlete or trying something new. You know, company pride. ISG Coatesville basketball team. You know, most of these are from 2003, 2004 when ISG had acquired it. We just thought these were interesting snapshots. But basketball, bowling, Downingtown gym, ISG softball, you know, in the Downingtown area, Recreation Adult League, Bill Sharp, the walk, and then yoga. I'm going to start some yoga classes. Of course, the benefits, you know, corporate yoga programs, very important. The, improves efficiency. That was my favorite. So yoga, center yourself, become a better steelworker. But of course then you have Golfers Wanted, ISG Plate, Golf League, and, so they were continuing on with some of these. One of the things I thought was interesting, just getting back a little bit to the documentation was, Lifetime Service Award. And this is an area that I think needs further exploration. Charlie Mast ran the Lukens Athletic League for a long time. I'm not sure if he won an award. Who were the past winners of the Lifetime Service Award for the Lukens Athletic League? And that really kind of is just like the call to action about, we need to develop this story more, try and find out, a little bit about past presidents, maybe some organization, try and find out more interviews, and really talk about the story a little bit more. And find out if there are any past winners of the Lifetime Service Award for this. But it seemed to be an important award, and it had a little bit of a file. But I wanted to show the criteria and just that this existed. And I'm not sure if it was an annual thing or if it was an ad hoc award, single time, one time. And we found that the Lukens Athletic, League pistol club with the guns, and thought it was interesting. at West Callan Sportsman's Club indoor range. Brandywine Valley, and security people. Maybe that's where it was driven from. Maybe the security personnel would, wanted to discharge the firearms. I don't know. And you don't have to be a good shot. And tennis. So those are some of the flyers that we had. The thing that really wanted to drive this was, again, getting the Lukens Athletic League out, looking at the documents and trying to preserve what we had. So, we have this, I believe, is pretty much all of the photographs that we had. So we digitalized everything that we could find to this point. So what I'm going to show you is pretty much the entire collection of the Lukens Athletic League and the various components. We don't have volleyball pictures or pictures of certain things. So that's why I wanted to show a little bit of the organizational document, and then we'll go into the pictures of people. Because really these are all action shots, they're all pictures of people. I don't have really any identification on anybody that we can pick out people, but again, that's the idea, is to start to layer the archives with the photographs and try and identify people, and then get more interviews and add some layers to the Lukens Athletic League. So I started out with the one that we had, I believe, the fewest photographs on, which was the Dart League. And there's two guys with a dartboard, and it did take me a while to figure out that this was the Dart League until I noticed the dartboard on the back. This is I don't know where this was taken at off site or on the Lukens complex. I'm not sure. But that's the Dart League. Basketball. We actually have more photographs in the Lukens life. So when I went back to look at how many photographs we had in digital format, I actually was quite surprised that there weren't that many. But they are quite interesting. And I start out, ladies lead us here at Lukens with, we're in honor of Rebecca, so ladies basketball takes us out. Classic, era photograph of the uniforms, the ball, the shoes, and the ladies fighting it out there for the turnover. And so that's interesting. Men's, about maybe the same time frame. I'm not sure. We'll have to again, try and identify this a little bit more with uniform. Somebody who's a little bit more knowledgeable in the history of basketball, or where that is. I mean, Gene, do you recognize the diver in the back there? I mean, that could be the coach up the street, Scott.
Scott.
Yeah.
Could be Scott High, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It had those big tall windows.
Yeah. Oh, it did like that? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I was trying to make out the uniform of the other group. This could be Valley Forge, Valley Forge Military Academy, maybe teachers, older people. But
Do the archives that you found, Scott, indicate who the opposing teams were, who they played?
no, there was minimal writing on the back of things, but then again, that's there's some writing on some, but it just would say like championship game or such. Let me try and see what this is. I mean, if you have questions, I do have them all here. I don't want to slow anything up, but I could go through that.
That's one of the ones in the hall.
Oh yeah, right. We did put some out on display, so maybe I won't do that right now. But this, yeah, they're interesting snapshots in time, that's for sure. And the guy on the right with the ball, he's extremely dirty. He's double teamed. It's just it's interesting. Everybody's looking at him for sure. That's where the drama is. Cold night though. Just different shots. Service department. It's a gritty looking group of guys.
There's Dick Eby on the far left, on the front row. Far right,
Oh, yeah?
front row. Yeah.
Front row, far right, Dick
Dick
Eby.
Eby, yeah, remember Dick. Well, it would be interesting to know, did we just play leagues within various departments, or did we play outside? Because, you know, there were leagues within various departments, you know,
Mhm.
production or whether office.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, and that was common with like the Lukens basketball league. They would play inter-department, but then as well, if they were in, you know,
Did we play other
and
kinds
later
of
on,
teams?
they played outside because there just wasn't enough people to draw from the plant to play. So, but at the time here in the 50s and 60s, there was probably a good intra-plant league.
I would think, yeah.
But they played off-site. We'll get into the baseball field. I know that's probably the only facility that they on the complex. I mean, again, darts and antique club and things like that. But, anything that required a playing facility or surface.
Okay.
But the basketball team, and here's modern. That's probably the Brandon line. That looks like Brandon line. The YMCA. 80s. And so that, again, surprising. We have more photographs on basketball that have names. Lukens Life, it'd be great to digitalize them and then use that resource to layer into this story. But the bowling league is interesting, for sure. Here is some guys throwing some balls down. I don't really been around the bowling leagues or if any of these places still exist, but this is out of the 50s. Women's league. Basically all the uniforms. It's the back row center. She didn't get the memo.
Maybe she was the manager.
Either that or she's running the show. Yeah, the smiling faces and competing hard at the bowling. So fascinating. Again, commentary on the hairdos, things like that.
Good shot.
Yeah. Here's three guys. Notice the two guys in the right lane are, two guys in one lane, so it's clearly a stage, photo. And, interesting. Guy in the center looks familiar, though. I don't know who that is, but looks familiar. And this I grouped. It's obviously a group photograph. The gentleman on the right is he appears later in management of the Lukens Athletic League.
He was superintendent of, I think, our accounting.
Oh, really? Accounting?
Yeah, Dick, I think was his last name, and he was still here about I think about the time I came. I'll think of his name. I can't right now, but yeah,
Sure.
I know the face.
Yeah. Yeah, I figured he would probably be somebody we might be able to find. Now, the shirts, you have Art going from, what's that, right to left? Art, Lou, Ron, maybe, and the gentleman on the far left does not have a name on the shirt. But that's what led to, that was the clue that led me to, this was in one of the miscellaneous photos in the file, and, I'm like, who are these people? And it was the shirts that gave me the giveaway, because when you look closely at some of the other bowling, that's the bowling shirts. And again, it'd be great to know what's on the back of that, Here, see these gentlemen here.
Mm-hmm.
Gentlemen. But I don't think any of these people were in the preceding photograph. Could be another.
And Al in the right, was he in the preceding?
Lou was.
In the right, the back, yeah, Lou.
Which one?
Lou. The one in the right on the back with the
Oh, right
ears.
back with the
Yeah.
good.
See, he's in the middle
That is the gentleman in the middle.
Oh yeah,
It looks
same
like
one.
him.
Okay.
The years,
with the ears.
unmistakable.
Okay. Well, thanks. Good call. Yeah. So, some old timers. Showing them how it's done. This is how we used to do it back in the day, right? That's what he said.
That would be a fun game, caption this photo.
I know. Yeah, I thought. Yeah. Promise not to do too much of that. No. Also promise not to sway so much so Ray can follow me. Bowling. It's probably dated a little earlier. I'm guessing. Suspenders. I don't know. Management again posing, or they were, involved in the league and couldn't take off their ties for some reason. I don't know. But interesting. Pencil thin mustache in the back. And then here's a group, the camaraderie again, this is really what it's about, the team, group. These are steel workers, they got a common purpose, but, they're all, doing something after hours, and, obviously for the most part they got smiles on. And,
Third gentleman from the left sitting is Charlie Patton.
on the couch,
Yeah.
next to the guy with the tie on this, right here. Charlie
Patton, P-A-T-T-O.
Charlie Patton. Mhm. And again, this is what's great. We bring the photographs out of the boxes, we put them in a medium, we put them out there, and now we can even put them online on video, and people can start to fill in some of these names. Obviously, though, as time passes, we won't be able to do that for very long. Or we get cross sections. We look at other documents in Lukens' life, and we be able to maybe find some of these photographs used. So in there. These guys look serious. So I think it's the scoring committee for the finals, some bowling match. It's just classic. You got guys smoking a cigar in the front. It's just
Little kids in the middle.
yeah, kids in the middle, guys smoking a cigarette in the back. Probably like just a hot, smoky bowling alley.
Kind of trench coat.
Yeah, yeah, guy in a trench coat. Short sleeve, short tie. And these guys are all serious, so that's why
Got the bookie there.
Yeah. Fascinating. So, yeah, I think I have one more. These guys a little bit more relaxed, but nonetheless scorekeepers. A little bit different venue, but again, probably for some sort of, very important match. That's probably the whole accounting department, I guess. Got the scorekeeper club. Again, this is what I don't know who they are, why they're here, whether they're past winners, past champions.
Looks like this is what happens when the bowling team gets arrested.
Yes, it's a lineup. Yeah. Yes.
It's like a police lineup, right?
Ma'am, can you identify who threw the bowling ball into the window? Yeah. I don't know about that. But we hope to, maybe come across something that, would identify, what purpose the lineup is, and it probably was not a police incident. So, we hope. Again, team pictures, groups. I'm not sure if the size of the team was 4 or 6 or 7. Hmm?
Yeah, that could be him.
Who's that?
Paul Gidler in the
second
front
one
row.
on from the right.
From the right.
Paul Gibler, huh?
Yeah, he's in engineering.
Which one?
Sitting.
With 2 hands on
Second in the right.
Where? Maybe.
But,
Yeah.
the fellow in the second one from the left looks vaguely familiar, but I can't put a name.
And bowling champions. Didn't recognize the doors, but it's probably the banquet, a year-end banquet, and bowling trophies and cups.
Oh, I think I recognize the guy on the right, on the back row.
Mm.
Can't think of his name. The face is familiar.
Yeah, this is probably 60s.
Yeah. Can't think of his name, but his face is familiar.
Just looking at the skinny ties and the table in the back, But that's the thing, we'll take time and we'll add the names and hopefully fill in the stories more. But it gets, who was a runner-up? You got 4 with one and 4 with another trophies, and what kind of evidence can we get, and how can we narrow this down to try and find some sort of, I'm sure the story in Lukens' life may cover this, but we'll try and layer that. Bowling trophies, you got the pins. That's the giveaway. This is bowling, and the little guy's bowling. Could be a little bit. Could predate the previous photograph. Golf. And ladies leading us out. Hope you can get that one. If not, it's going to be a long day. But I'm not entirely sure where that is. I see the cars in the background, but I've been to Coatesville. Is that the is that the cart barn and putting green? I would have to get a different angle and got to really look at that. I'm not sure that's Coatesville. But,
I don't think so.
Yeah. Interesting. Fashion. Coke. Yep, you bet. Be a good Coke ad.
Coca-Cola ad.
Mm-hmm. But also a commentary on, got 3 different styles of golf bags. Interesting. Not sure who they are. It'd be great to know. That's a sloping course. That could be Coatesville. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't all fair weather. Look at these ladies going out when it's tough. Not me. I gave up rain golf a couple years ago. But through thick and thin.
Look at the boots.
And then the boots, the fur line was my favorite thing. But, yeah. The men, they were gritting it out for some trophies here, that's for sure. The guy in the center looks like he's been, working in the mill all day, rather than on the golf course. But that's a great shot. Could be 70s in this one. Hats and hat styles and things. Maybe Coatesville, I don't know. Looking at the back trees and the slope, but cars parked there, I'm not sure where that is. Could be Moccasin Run or Ingleside, they had some there too. And this one was interesting. This is probably the reason the bylaws were created. Now you should have seen that guy behind the unnatural hazard on number 8. You're gonna have to see, he's writing it down. And the other guy's listening intently. Yep, you're right, boss. So I don't know. That must have been he's got a couple balls in his pockets, maybe. I don't know. I'm going to check his pockets, but now who knows what this is? Golf outing. You see you probably you have your scorecards and your pencils and all that. So this is probably the registration table, and a couple guys getting ready to go out on the tournament. So just an interesting expression. And I thought this was neat. He must have gotten it down the middle there pretty good. And this is an interesting time, that comment about integrated sports. I mean, you look at the basketball, that was integrated at a certain time. But you see the African American little young man over there, and that's one of the things that wasn't so prevalent in this, except later on, is the mixing of demographics, and I think that's sad too. Is by no means. I mean, hopefully we'll find some more. But you look at the bowling and you look at the other, and there's not a lot of depth. But you do find that later on in the running and basketball and things like that. But I just wanted to point that out for some unknown reason. I don't know what they were doing here, but this was a comical shot. Getting the ball to the home and the hole in the flag, and I don't know if Coatesville probably did not let you play without a shirt, unless you're coming from the pool or something. You're going. I don't know.
That's almost a comic picture, yeah.
Yeah. And some bystanders intently, figuring out who's winning or when their tee time is. And, I thought this was interesting. The guy, second from the left is all business. He's ready to go. And we have these, this is a great shot.
Well-matched shirt and shorts really punch.
Yeah. Jeez Louise, yeah, the plaid and the paisley. I'm sure there's a fashion rule on that somewhere.
It's in the bylaws.
It's in the bylaws, yes. Rules and regulations, yeah. Yeah, don't go too far to the right, and don't go too far to the left. But, yeah, they look ready to play. And here, this is probably taken on the same day of the ladies in their rain gear, but here are the men on 18.
Oh, I know the guy left by the 18. Oh. I got names, but I know the face. He used to be he was in this building when I was here. Just can't think of his name. Yeah. Don't recognize anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the guy on the right,
The guy on the right?
That's about 1950 maybe, those oversized brimmed hats.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He looks familiar, but maybe he's a on the wall, sales VP, something like that. Yeah, and whether or not you find most of your golfers from the sales, we'll get into that. We might hang some people out to dry as we get closer to the more modern era. This is clearly Coatesville,
Yes.
putting green in front of the clubhouse there. 70s, early 80s, 70s, it's my guess. So we could, I'm not sure who those are, but, oops, I'm sorry, skip one. Right, back up here. Guy in the front right. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. Coatesville, I believe, yeah.
Jim Newswanger.
Yeah, right. Third from the left.
Third from the left?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's in the previous picture.
I was?
Yeah, I couldn't think of his name. He's on the left with the shorts.
Huh. Oh, yeah, same day then. Is it the same shirt? I don't want to go back and forth too many times, but we'll look at that
Same
later.
shorts.
Same shorts, yeah. Yeah,
Good pair of shorts.
Yeah, lucky shorts. 80s. I'm guessing 80s. Everybody's in shorts now. But might be able to identify some of them.
Yeah, two faces are familiar, but again, I can't put names on. The one on the far left, the one on the far right.
Yeah, far right.
I just can't, the names aren't coming, but I recognize the faces.
In what department do you think, Gene?
I'm not sure.
I think this could be the last golf show. No, I got a couple more. Yeah.
Tom Hanna on the right.
And
Yeah.
Bob Insetta there, yeah. He's still an avid golfer. So. Those pine trees are Coatesville. Yeah, number coming in. It's that fourth green right behind him, I guess. Looking over the reservoir. The putting
George
green.
Copeland on the right.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
Neely?
Mm-hmm.
And
that's George.
Mr. Brandon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, Doug Brandon, right?
Doug Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kneeling third from the right.
Hmm.
He was in accounting. Ah, gee, names.
This guy looks familiar
Those
too.
faces familiar.
Yeah, that's the idea. We'll get these more labeled out and get some people recognized. It's just a fascinating shot too, of a day out on the course with Lukens Field. Execs, probably.
That's a cool picture.
Yeah, color. I think I have a pair of pants that look like the red there. Orange golf ball. That's on the back 9, 16, something like that. There's Bob again. So, baseball,
Isn't that
softball.
Insetta?
Yes, it was Bob and Seth. Right, yeah.
Insetta?
Mhm,
Second
Insetta.
from the, yeah, above Insetta, looks like it.
Yeah. Baseball and softball. Just combine them into one. First one I believe is softball because of the ball. I don't think he's out, and I don't think he's going to be safe either. Looks like the ball's going to go flying by. But and Leighton Field, interesting, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But good evening, night shot. And then here's a crew in their matching uniforms ready to hit the field. That could just be the Lukens team or an intra team. It's tough since they don't really have names on their shirts.
Mm.
And the two bat boys, I'm sure they were sons of employees. And I believe this is the field.
South Coast.
South Coatesville. I'm not entirely sure. Where was Leighton Field? Was that out?
Wagon.
That's out in Wagon. Is that where Leighton
That's
Field is
the
now?
field, yeah.
Same site. Yeah. I know it's much expanded. I mean, it's
Right,
It's a
yeah,
really
it's
nice park. Yeah. But so there's a good shot behind the backstop. I guess going over the rules and regulations and additions to the bylaws. Again, this is probably softball. Balls in the guys on the left hand. So. But this is probably the South Coatesville field. Somebody important, management, I don't know, he's not related to me. Because we throw better than that. You got to step into that, man. I'll tell you right now, that ball's not going anywhere. But I don't know if this is the dedication of the field or not. There were a couple shots of this, and
He's throwing it from home plate too.
yeah, it's sort of from home plate. I probably had these reversed. I don't know if this is the ball going to home and then they're throwing it back out.
I think that's Lou Irwin.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
I think so. When he's quite young.
Yeah.
I think it's Lou.
Fascinating.
Yeah, that's got to be in South Coastville because
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
Looking Well plant too in the back.
Luke, on the back right, Lukens 2, and back left, Lukens 1.
I think that's Lou.
And I love the car. You see the back. That's a great shot.
Yeah,
But yeah, Lou, huh?
I think it looks like him.
Yeah, and so I'll go back to this real quick because that's where I think that they were throwing the ball in and then they were heading out. And then I'll just go back one more because the umpires are all the same. I just believe that's maybe the dedication or the opening of that field. And there's a good shot of it, I believe. Yeah, looks like it. And many victories and tears shed there, I'm sure. Here's a group, but this is the 80s. I'm not entirely sure where that is. Could be Leighton Field because again, you look in the background, there's no mills. And that could be at a time when it's just the Lukens team. There was one team. And those are some steelworkers, that's for sure. That's a motley crew. But it's good, And, 50s. See back right, that's great, Must have been tough, but, there's some Lukens Athletic League. They have nice uniforms there. Stripes on the pants too. So we have a couple hats, but we don't really have any uniforms or anything like that. I don't imagine many of that stuff survives. People wear that to, Tocos. Yeah, baseball, softball. There's good uniforms.
Oh, left, Jackie Conrad.
Jackie Conrad.
The first one on the left, doing very well.
Oh yeah, friend of yours, huh? What department was he?
Yeah, when I was a kid, where we used to live, his family were neighbors of ours. Jackie was older than me, but I do remember him very well. He eventually went into sales, and he was in our Chicago sales office for a while, and later in Coastal District. I knew Jackie right away. That's Jackie. Not recognize anybody else, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's Jack Conrad. He was quite a tennis player, too.
That's great. It's good to know. Lukens L on the hats, and this is an athletic association team rather than a,
Yeah.
And then you get into the 80s. This has got to be softball.
It's like the start of a waltz.
Yes. Double zeros. And the low five. Guy trying to low five.
Yeah.
No. You can feel the tension, the drama.
Yeah.
I don't know where he's really throwing it to, because the one guy is kind of looking not really at the ball, but he's giving it all there. Looks like the finance
There's
department.
a glove there.
What's that? Yeah. Yeah, his glove's not up, and that. But that was a good, good shot. Finance. So. Finance versus accounting, I don't know with the A, but maybe it's just wearing athletics. Giving that ball a ride and pitching.
They're serious.
Yep. Yeah, baseball trophy or softball trophy. But again, it's no uniform. You can tell it's like the 80s. Company's not financing anything superfluous. And this one is easily placed, and this was interesting. Scott School and the ladies softball. See the softballs on the right. Lukens shirts and love the suspenders and the uniforms. I'm sure you could place that in a certain time and see the car in the background, you know. Yeah. So yeah, long tradition. And then, you know, recently in the 80s, you cut across some photographs of running, athletics, road runners. This is the maintenance running. So interesting. You might know people here, but I don't know. This was in the file, just the competition. And somebody said he worked at Lukens. He might work for the vet up the hill now. I'm not sure who he is, so we're trying to track down him. He might be around. Just threw it in there, family oriented, right? Run around the track at the art building, you know. And this was in the file. Again, it's like, you know, there must have been a great story behind this. Because I can't imagine why these guys are, you know, in a kind of happy mood. Some are not too happy at 6 p.m., 6 a.m. You know, did the extra inning bowling, you know, championship go so far that now, you know, it's like, hey, I'm going to be reporting to work in an hour or something. I don't know. But
Well, that's Bart Starr.
oh yeah, Bart Starr. I don't know who that is. Yeah. I mean, I know who it is. I'm the quarterback for.
Yeah, it looks dead ringer for him in the back row with his hands on his hips.
With his hands on his hips.
Second from the right.
Second from the right. Okay. Bart Starr. Huh. Well, that could be something. We'll have to try and cross-reference that. Who do you play? I want to say. Who do you play for?
Green Bay.
Green Bay Packers. Yeah. Thanks, Jim. Yeah. Yeah. Who knows? I don't know. It was in the Lukens Athletic League file, and you know, it's, you know, not everybody's smiling, so I couldn't quite place what they're doing and why. But and 6 p.m. or 6 a.m., but it's 6, and you know, I thought that was interesting. And you know, last, I think just the recognition that they gave everybody at the end. Here's a group photo. I can't quite place the event. It was in the Lukens Athletic Association, so you know, not really labeled whether these are winners of the
Second
team.
from right, I'm almost sure it's Russell Fales.
Oh yeah.
His son has sent us a lot of odds and ends, including that picture that Brandon I mentioned when we had people living in it.
Oh yes, from
I'm almost sure that's Russell Fales.
Sports. Sports you play? Anything like that?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
He was in plant management.
And the only thing
I
that's
don't
come
recognize anybody
to my
else.
baseball team.
Yeah, they look like baseball jackets that they're holding.
Oh, even? Yes, okay. Like probably has a. Too bad nobody's holding one up. But you're right. They all look like matching jackets, huh? That's neat. That's great. Good spot. History mystery. Don't know again. You know who these gentlemen are.
Or the guy in the background.
Yeah, we've got in the background. My guess is that this is the management committee. Again, the guy on the right, as Gene, you pointed out before, from accounting. But I'm not entirely sure. Maybe these are the committee member heads of each department.
That's
You
the
know,
same guy.
baseball, bowling. I only, you know, and we can go through. The reason I say that is I don't believe they are the executives of the Lukens Athletic League, because the next photograph of the banquet, there's some more. They're more heavies, more serious guys. But that's what I'm guessing. These guys are the ones who run each individual group. But you never know. Or team captains. I mean, it could be that too. You know, these are all the, you know, coaches for the baseball, basketball teams. You know, bowling. And this is what I said. The guys in the front, they just look, you know, like they're all business. Big stogies, front center.
Right again that I was in accounting.
Yeah, accounting, and that's where then maybe this is more the executive committee. The guy with the in the third from the left, you know, third from the left looks familiar. And my guess is, these are the executives. This is the executive table at the awards banquet, and they're eating here, and they are overlooking the banquet. I was trying to identify some of the bow ties and some of the people. This gentleman, second from the left, is not in the previous photograph, at least, you know, my cursory glance.
Where is that?
Yeah, I don't know. Look at that.
It's not the LGM.
It's got steel truss roofing hidden underneath that,
Is that downstairs in the LGM?
I don't know. Could
and
be.
that woodwork. That's clearly like 60s.
Yeah.
That's probably long gone. But it looks, like a packed house. And, I think, again, that's what, what some of this stuff is needed. It's, more than just steel making. It's, a community coming together, athletics, getting to know people, sharing in some things, bonding in different ways. And, this is the award banquet. And I believe that, that's it for tonight. And the Lukens Athletic League, and the story that we have it right now, some organizational structure, some budgets, you can get a size in the field. We'd love to get more stories. Some of the stories that we have around here tonight are not digitalized. We hope to get more. We have clippings on the golf outing. We have golf clubs and 2-hole 1-balls from the Lukens Athletic League Golf. And there are some stories behind some of these athletes, and that's where, we just want to put a call out, not only for stories from people, but also some of those tangible things that you may or might not have, uniforms and things like that, but it's really about the people and the community and really, telling a story. And, any and all, photographs would be great too. So it's neat to bring it out, try and find out what we have, get on top of it, and again, start to, find out some of the people behind it. But thanks for coming out tonight, and hopefully there'll be more updates on the Lukens Athletic League in the future. But that's all I have. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to take them. But if not,
I think it's a very good effort
Yeah.
because we had over 5,000 employees, and one department didn't always know another department. People in the offices didn't always know in the mill, and people were brought together through a mutual interest in golf, baseball, whatever the sport, or collections or whatever. And I think it did make for greater unity among. When you have 5,000 plus people, it's everybody doesn't know everybody. I certainly didn't when I was here.
Yeah.
I worked in this building. We were sort of isolated from the rest of it. When I was cost accounting and used to have to go out to some of the plants and so forth. But I think there was a definite value to employee morale. For people who maybe never got beyond Sturt Avenue, found out who was in Lukens and vice versa.
Yeah, that's true. In such a large steel company, departments really, they knew their teams and they knew their area. That's why it's interesting to talk to maintenance personnel, because they are really ones who really went around everywhere. But for the most part, the different departments stayed, together, and this must have been a good way for them all to interact in a, non-working environment, semi-working environment, more than beyond. And I think it adds depth to the story, more than just rolling steel, and those are the things. There was the company picnic, and that might be a good subject to explore more.
There's several pictures in the Lukens life of the annual picnic. We had at Lenape, we used to have a special train, run a couple sections of the train from the station out here, because the tracks go right by Lenape area. Yeah. Very good stuff.
It's a good time. Yeah. Our next lecture is going to be on Victorian dinners, the history of Thanksgiving. Rather, it's the history of Thanksgiving, which started in Victorian under Lincoln. And fall's a nice time to obviously do that. We did the Lukens Athletic League because everything's going on right now. Except basketball, they're on strike. But, you have football and baseball, and this is a good time to do a topic on sports. Next one we'll do is about Thanksgiving. We also have the barbecue this weekend. We have the New York trip, and then we have look for the dinner and volunteer day and the holiday open house. So thanks for coming tonight, and have a good night. Thank you.
Good. I like that steel plate background for your. That's good.
Yep. Yeah.